Good morning, everybody. I'm kind of trying to be quiet, which is kind of at the opposite of trying to make a video, but everyone's still asleep, meaning my boys are still asleep. And um, I thought the month of May is almost ending, so I better do this video because some of y'all might know that we are PCSing to Okinawa, Japan. And so I'll be having new videos to do on that. So, anyways, our life has just been upside down, sideways. It's just craziness. I wish you could see the rest of my house because I have stuff packed, ready for them to come pick up later on this week, and then we're going on a trip to go home to Texas and say bye to everybody. So, anyways, let's just get to the books because that one I can do. I'm actually going to start with me, right? Let's start with the mama, and I was telling my mom I hardly read because I read so much to them during the week that at night I don't want to read. I just want to like binge watch shows and go to bed. So, anyways, my mom recommended this book. We were going on a camp out, and I needed something to read while I was with the Cub Scouts, and so she recommended this book that they read for their book club, and it's called The Aviator's Wife by Melanie Benjamin. And so she said, I have two recommendations, this one and The Kitchen House. I actually bought The Kitchen House and I'm going to save it to read when we go to Japan because we're not going to have cable for a while and the internet, so I'm going to need a good book to read or on the plane. So, anyways, so I'm going to save that. That will be my next mama book. But I was actually proud. I read it in 3 days. I could not um, put it down. Nicholas said, is there a movie for it? And I said, no. Well, then why are you reading it? You know, all books don't have to have movies. So, um, very good. The author tells the story. The aviator's wife is the wife of the famous Charles Lindbergh. So it's historical fiction. So good. I couldn't put it down. So we did that. And then our read alouds, I was mentioning the Cub Scout camp. On the way there, I went to pick this book up at the library, and I found the book on CD's Warhorse, and the boys were like, "We didn't want to listen to this," and I'm like, it was in the children's section. I thought this would be amazing, and so they fell asleep listening to it, and Joel and I were driving by ourselves to the camp out, and it was so interesting. And it's about a horse named Joey, and he has some other names throughout there because he's a war horse. And the story itself isn't true, but for being a war horse in World War I for the British is true. And so I did look it up and watch a documentary, and I think there's a movie about it, about the book. So I'm gonna have to check out that and see what it's about. But it was really good. Actually, we didn't even finish the book. You know, we listened to it on CD going to the Cub Scouts, and like I said, they fell asleep. And so, and then on the way back out of the Cub Scouts, we were listening to it because we didn't have signal. So we were like, let's listen to the CDs, and the boys are like, ah. So Joel and I are like, yeah, let's listen to it. Let's find out where we left off. And so then we got back, and I know I don't have a place where I can listen to a CD, and I found it online for audio, and so at night I would listen to it in my bed, and it's a really, really good book. I cried, and I think it's for children, but it's such a good book. So Warhorse is a good recommendation. Um, we're still with these books, the Pathway Readers. We read these, like I said. We do other listening during lunchtime, so this one has actually taken us forever to finish. We're halfway through, but they're just good quality books. Like I said, wholesome and has good lessons written within the story. So I did start this the other day with them. It's part of our Book Shark collection, and it's The Last Little Cat. And so I don't know. I mean, it looks like a really good book, and it doesn't have chapters. It's just like a really, really long story that goes through. It's not very big, like I said, but The boys were like, we don't want to listen to that. And I'm like, oh my goodness. And I don't know if it's because we only have 2 weeks of school that you're going to notice from our choices. Um, they just, they're just already on vacation mode. And I agree, but we got to finish strong. So, um, I also got the audio of Magic Tree House. Like I said, my kids are like on vacation mode, and Michael is in one of them. He actually completed the first book of Magic Tree House. I thought he seemed to like it, but so then when I told him to get book 2, let's keep reading. You know how when you find a series, let's just keep reading it because there's it's a no-brainer for what book are you going to read next. And then kids are like, "Oh, I don't know. I don't want to read." Whereas if you have a series, when my older son was younger, he was like in the Hunger Games and like the Percy Jackson series because it was like, yes, keep going, keep reading. So I thought, wow, there's like what 500 books in this series, and so he was like, oh, I don't want to read anymore. I'm so tired of reading. And so I said, if we do one chapter, you read, and then the other chapter, you listen. And so that was the compromise, and he seems to be doing better on that. I did want to go back to the what is it, out loud reading. We did start the second book of Harry Potter. Nicholas started on his own because he's, like I mentioned before, he's my non-reader, and he said, I can't wait any longer. I just want to read the second book. And I was like, fine. But our lives as adults is just so busy that I didn't have time to sit with them and read that part because we have other read aloud books that I think are a little bit more, what should I say, educational. So, not that Harry Potter's not, you can make it educational, but you know what I mean. And so he got up to like chapter 8 or 9, and we went on a little mini vacation, and I had the audio CDs again, and we ended up playing it. Well, we got hooked on it, and we were like, "Oh, this is so interesting." And Nicholas, he said, "Oh my gosh," he's like, "You're about to catch up to where I was," which he was like, I think, like I said, chapter 9 or something. We totally passed them up, and throughout the whole mini vacation, because we drove all the way to LA and back and stuff, we finished the entire book. It was really good, and so the boys were like, "It's on Amazon Prime. The movie's on Amazon Prime. Let's watch the movie." And so last night we finally watched the movie, and like I said, the book is always better. I mean, they left off so much stuff, just so much stuff. So, anyways, so that was Michael, and I'm gonna tell you, don't judge. I'm sorry. I had to give in. He wanted to get these little golden books. Okay, I know he's second grade and he's and he's 8 years old, but you know what? He asked for these, and I figure as long as he's reading, oh my gosh, I'm so embarrassed to show y'all this. So, he's reading them. And actually, I didn't watch Star Wars 1 or 2, so when he was reading it, I was like, oh, is that how Padme and what's his name, Anakin met? And oh my gosh, they were like, yes, Mom. So, so these are like the whole entire series of Star Wars, and so he's reading them. Don't judge. So he's reading. Okay, Matthew is still on the Half Blood Prince. I think he's further along. This is like his downstairs book, and then he has his other book that he takes to work because he lifeguards. Not when he doesn't lifeguard when he's reading, but I'm telling you, I haven't had my coffee. I'm crazy. So, anyways, he's a little bit further along. I'm determined. I told him you are finishing this by the end of this month because I'm telling you, how many months have I been saying he's reading this book already? I'm like so sick of this book. So he's gonna finish that, and then I'm gonna have him do a paperback, and I'm gonna have him do Stephen King, The Green Mile. So I think he's really gonna enjoy it, and of course the book's amazing. I was trying to find the book, The Shawshank Redemption, because I think that he would really enjoy that one too, and I couldn't find it, so I'm gonna have to check the library. But then we're leaving, so I can't really check it out. But maybe I can check Barnes and Nobles one more time. They'll order it for me, or buy it online. So that's going to be his next book for June. Like I said, we're going out of town, but I figured this is a great one he can throw in his backpack, and he can continue reading. Nicholas, like I said, he started Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets book 2, and he left out because we ended up passing him on the audio CDs, and so I told him, you need to finish your other books. So he, that's hard to read, huh? Who is Muhammad Ali? Remember I've mentioned that he likes the who are, what are, where is, and so he finished this book last week, and he did a book report for me, and so he is starting this week. What was the Alamo? Which I was pretty cool that he picked this because we're from San Antonio and that's where we're going in 2 weeks. So I think it'll be cool for him to read it, and then I can take him to see the Alamo when we go home. Not that he hasn't seen it, but I think after you've read the battle and stuff like that, that it's a little bit more meaningful to see it in person. So, anyways, oh my gosh, it's almost like a long video. Okay, I think that's it. That's probably gonna be my last what are we reading for quite a while until we get settled in Japan. Next time I see you, I'm gonna be in Japan. I'm gonna do one more video, but that's on review of our curriculum that we did, and what I didn't like and what I did like. So, all right, happy Monday. Bye, guys.